Hello there, Wayway Games here. I wanted to show my up and running Windows 98 gaming computer that I've been working on for the past couple months. I've had some hiccups, some issues, a hell of a time tracking down the right drivers, and I had a power supply that died, and I needed to order adapters. It was a ongoing issue after issue with this computer, but I'm super happy it's finally working and good to go, and I'll show some gameplay demos at the end of this video. But I wanted to go over the specs of what is in this bad boy before we get into that. Excuse me. It's a Dell Optiplex GX110. These guys originally launched in 1999. There is a flat tabletop type of version, and then this taller tower. Mine has a 866 megahertz processor, a socket 370. The computer also has an Intel 810 chipset for integrated graphics, the Intel 82810E. So I have a Voodoo card hooked up in there, a Voodoo 2 1000, 8 megabyte. And you need a 2D graphics card for these 3D accelerators to work, the early ones, because they just did 3D and nothing else. I didn't have a pass-through cable, and I thought it would be an issue, but it turns out that you can just use a VGA extension cable, and it works just fine. This one I got off Amazon, and you can see I had to file off these little screw holes that were popping up, so that I couldn't put it in the system. But it works perfectly, and as far as modifications go, that's pretty darn easy. Okay, just gonna turn this bad boy around so we can catch the front of it. There's the badge, Dell Optiplex GX110, and I've got it's a NEC 3 1/4 floppy drive. I've got 2 empty bays right now. I'm not sure if I'm going to do anything with them or not. I've got a excuse me, a really generic Toshiba XM 6202B. That's a 32 times speed CD drive. You see these things all over the place. As generic as you can get, but they work fun. Work great. So I've got that in there. Did not come with it. I had to track it down. And I've also put on a bunch of the new stickers. Well, 2 anyway. The Windows 98/Windows 2000 badge was there already. Same with the Pentium 3 sticker. I added the 3DFX Voodoo 2 sticker there, and the Sound Blaster, because I've got a Sound Blaster card. I'll get into that when I crack her open. Let's get it sideways here. So this cover just lifts right off after you push a button. Set that aside. And hopefully we can get a good look in here. I'm not sure how great the lighting will be. But there is the Voodoo 2, the 8 megabyte card for 3D acceleration. Anybody who's trying to track these down right now knows how ludicrously expensive they are. My end goal with this computer is going to be to get a second 8 megabyte card and SLI connect them together. So I'd have a 16 megabyte SLI set up in here, which would just be ridiculous. But for right now, 8 megabytes is still very serviceable for the games I'm playing in this thing. And behind it, can't really see. It's not great lighting, and big old Voodoo 2 card is hiding it. But I've got a Sound Blaster Live value card in there for my sound. This is all era accurate. That's a 1999 card. And I had to put a new power supply in there from a newer Dell Optiplex. But the issue with that is I needed to buy this adapter, because on this old guy, it's actually a 20-pin plus a 6-pin, sorry if I'll move all that, 6-pin connector. If we can make that out, if I can focus here. Yeah, so there's that 20-pin on the top and then that 6-pin on the bottom. So I needed a special adapter. They sell them on eBay. It was about 25 bucks. It works great, but I had to wait quite a while for this guy to come in. And I don't know much else what to talk about in the internals here. I've got an 80 gigabyte hard drive in there. I can't recall the brand right now, but plenty of space for this era of gaming. It's a bit overkill, actually. But that's it for the internals for now. So besides getting a second Voodoo 2 or maybe even a Voodoo 3 if I ever track one down, that's what I've got running in this guy. And I've also got 255 megabytes of PC 100 RAM in there. And that is more than enough for this era of gaming. I wouldn't go with the 128, because some games might be a little lacking with just 120 megs, so doubling it up is always a good idea. So, just got it all... Oh, my mistake. I always do that. Just got it all hooked up again and ready to go. I will note that I've got quite a mess of cables back there. I'm planning on tidying that up. But it's because I've got the two computers hooked up to my mouse, keyboard, and monitor. I've got a VGA and PS2 splitter at the back, so you can have two computers going to one monitor and one mouse and keyboard. I'll just go over, I guess, peripherals real quick here. I've got a generic Microsoft standard keyboard there, and a Microsoft ball mouse. So it's perfect for the era. Goes with the color, the beige. Everything's beige. That's exactly how I wanted it. And I'll see if we can get this set up so I can capture some good gameplay as I go over some other points about the computer. It's never ideal to film on a CRT monitor, but I wanted to go over the two biggest obstacles to getting this computer up and running. First was getting the correct drivers for the 810 chipset to get the display working properly. Dell does have quite a bit of drivers still available for the GX110, but I had to go, I believe I found it on Phil's Computer Lab. I could be incorrect on that. I'll say in the comments where I got my drivers from, because it was quite the challenge getting these guys to work. So the 810 integrated graphics was a pain, but I finally got that after a lot of trial and error. And the other issue was getting drivers for the Sound Blaster card. And I definitely got this one on Phil's Computer Lab, same with the Sound Blaster. Deciding on what driver to choose for the Voodoo 2, I went with the 3D Zone Fast Voodoo 2 version 4.6, because it allows you to not only run the card like normal, but it allows you to use matched Voodoo 2s to work together in SLI mode. Otherwise, I would need to track down the exact brand and size Voodoo 2 card as the one I've got in here, and it's already expensive and difficult enough to find any of them, let alone the exact matching brand, which is, I should add, the Diamond Monster 2 3D 8 megabyte. I do prefer the Diamond Voodoo cards. Just something about the aesthetic or the appeal. I really enjoy them. So getting all my drivers just to get a display was a big issue. The power supply died, so I needed to buy the adapter, which thankfully there was one. And tracking down a CD drive to replace the one that was in here before that wasn't working. The one thing that a lot of the retro computer folks never really talk about is the absolute pain in the ass it can be to get these old systems up and running, like these old Dells or IBMs, just anything, the compacts, whatever you have, like, it can be a real pain in the ass to get it working, and all your drivers tracked down. And I can't tell you how long I've Googled and researched and looked up fixes for when things weren't working, like wasn't getting display. You name it, it was just a lot of work and a lot of research. And it's a difficult but very rewarding process. Once everything was working and I was playing games, everything felt absolutely worth it. So enough rambling. I'll show you some games on this system with the 866 megahertz Pentium 3 and the Voodoo 2 with the glide mode. Things look fantastic. All right, the first game I am going to showcase on this machine is Unreal, an absolute classic game of the era I was aiming for. Glide mode looks fantastic. It works great with the Voodoo 2 with the 8 megabytes. I can tell it would work even better with the SLI setup, obviously, or a bit of a stronger Voodoo. But 8 megabytes, this game runs buttery smooth. I don't have a FPS calculator, or sorry, counter or anything to show what it's getting, but it feels like I'm getting a solid between 30 and 60 FPS. Definitely doesn't dip below 30. And it's been a lot of fun playing this guy. I'm going to try and hold the camera one-handed and play with the other. Oh, there we go. Just a little gameplay. I guess of me just looking and shooting because I can't reach the keyboard with one hand. And this is not the greatest gameplay showcase, but you can see the game is running great. Works as intended. The lava effects look really cool as I'm getting burned to death in it. Like I said, this isn't really a good showcase because I'm only one-handed here. But you can definitely see the game working and running great. And that's all I wanted to showcase. I'll throw on Need for Speed 3 next because I can actually play that one-handed and it'll look a lot better. One of the other things to showcase to really strike home how important these Voodoo accelerator cards were, I'm going to launch Need for Speed High Stakes just because it was more easily available. The CD was closer to me, so instead of Need for Speed 3. So we'll set that up. And we'll get this running. So this is without the Voodoo working, and it's just running on software acceleration. Or sorry, in software mode. So here's the game running without the assistance of the hardware or the graphics acceleration from the Voodoo in software mode. Let's see if I can get to third person here. There we go. I mean, back when I was a kid, I would have been fine with this. I'd just happy to play any game. It wouldn't have bothered me that much to run a game looking like this. And frankly, I didn't know any better as a kid. I was not computer savvy in my youth or my teen years, so I wouldn't have known that this looked like ass. I would just assume that, well, this is what the game looks like, and that's what it looks like. So that's enough of the software render mode. Well, we're going to jump right to 3D accelerated. You'll see the difference. And I mean, there's just no comparison between rendering it on software mode and having glide active with the Voodoo 2, or any Voodoo card for that matter. Like, it just looks, it's buttery smooth. It looks amazing. I'm not a very good racer if you haven't noticed by how many, yeah, there's another one, how many walls I've been running into. But the Need for Speed games are really great for showing the glide mode effect. I know LGR is a big fan of showing these games as well, because it's just night and day, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. I've had an absolute blast building this. I've also wanted to pull my hair out and throw this goddamn computer through a window. But now that it's all running and I'm playing the games, I've forgotten about all that. It's just been a real treat to build this and to work on it, and to finally have a 3DFX Voodoo card, there we go, retro computer. All right, and this is the end of the video. This is where I'm gonna cut it off. I've rambled on long enough about the computer. I really wanted to do a big shout out to the YouTube channel Midnight Geek. He commented saying I had to do a proper video on this stuff, and here it is. He has a great channel, very similar to mine. He puts way more effort into the videos than I do. I'm going to put his channel in the description because it's really great stuff. And if you like these style of videos, you're going to like his even more because he actually puts effort into them. So thanks, Midnight Geek, for inspiring me to make a, albeit low effort video, but it's a video. I've made it. It's in. Have a good one. And thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate everyone who's clicked on this video and has watched till this point. I know it's not a ton of people, but I appreciate all the views. Thank you very much, and have a good day.